Okay, we added a basic material to our lathe. Well, let's go in and create a new material and we'll load it on something else. So, without further ado, let's go in and just double click. It's the same method. Double click and we'll get a new material. And before we actually, let's go into it. But before we actually go into, what all this, like what reflectance is and how we create that, I do want to touch on some of these other things here. So you'll see diffusion. So that can kind of work with how a object, working with how it's reflected, and we can diffuse some of its lighting, how those materials really gloss over. Luminance is brightness. Transparency is for like glass. Reflectance, that is for something that's reflective, like a metal or something like that. We can also give it environment or fog. Those aren't things that we really will work with. And then you have bump and normals. And this is really sort of big. You won't really deal with a lot of it right now. But like in game design and 3D, all of this stuff, bump maps and normal maps are very important. Now, normal maps are higher detail than bump maps, but they necessarily really do the same thing. But what a normal map does, let's say that I wanted carpet in my scene. Well, if I take a picture of carpet, boom, I could plug that into the color channel and I would have a picture. But what you'll see is that it doesn't have any depth. It just looks like an image. And what a normal map does is it actually creates these normals that would give the carpet depth, where it would actually make it look like carpet instead of this flat to the image. And that's what the bump and normal maps do. Now, normal maps are a lot better. So just keep that in mind. We won't work with that right now. Then you have alpha channels. You should know what alpha is. Glow, so we can make things glow. And these are some of the things that we'll end up using throughout, but mostly what you'll use is color and reflectance. Those are the most important ones. So what I want to do is I actually want to go in and let's just create a different material for color. So let's just click and we'll just create something a little different. Maybe I'll do like this purple. But let's actually make this material worthwhile. So let's click on reflectance. And you can see that, okay, we got some stuff here. And don't worry too much, all right? But what happens is right now it has this default material loaded. And the first thing you ever want to do is we never want the default material. It's never good. So we're not going to pay attention to any of this right now. Just click on this default specular and hit delete. And we can see everything is gone. All right, so now we got something that we can actually work with. So what you want to do is go ahead and add a material. So you have this, we have a couple. We have Beckman and GGX. These are the top two that you'll sort of see. This Beckman will help you kind of get close to a nice soft shine as far as reflectance. A GGX, those can really work for like hard metals. So when you think of like copper and that type of stuff, it can really give you some nice rusting and things like that. But the one that I actually like a little bit better than these, I still use them, but I actually like this Reflection Legacy. I think it just works really well. I like the way that it kind of shines. It's not too powerful, it's not too much, but it's just a nice shine. But we can go in and play around with some of these, but you just find ones that you like as you move forward and how it works in your scene. But I'm going to choose Reflection Legacy. And you'll see that now it's this nice reflection, but one, we see that our colors have gone away. They're like gone. So we're going to fix this. And there's some ways, but let's go down here and pay attention to this. Right now, one of the things that you'll learn about 3D and Cinema 4D, you want your metals, unless I want it to be like this copper, like, something that looks like a penny where it's really rustic. I don't really want roughness in there. I want it to be really smooth because you're gonna see it when you add lights. So let's just go ahead and I'm just gonna bring my roughness down to 0. You can see how that changed. So let me go back to 10. If we change it to 10, you'll see the change here. I like that at 0. It's now looking a lot smoother here. Now reflection strength, that's how powerful the reflection is. You can kind of bring that down and you can kind of see what is happening. But I like to keep that sort of cranked up. Now specular strength, if I change this, you really can't notice the difference. But when you start having lights and things like that, it's just how those specks, those really bright spots are illuminated. I do sort of like those spots to be illuminated, especially when I have lights. So I keep that up around 20. Now you can blow it out and put it at 100. It's up to you, but I like to keep that there. But let's take a look. We don't have our color yet. We don't have our color. And the reason is because we need to add another layer. And what we have is this layer Fresnel. That's how they say it. You would think it's Fresnel, but it's Fresnel. That's what they say. And if I click on layer Fresnel, and we'll go down, we'll see this option for Fresnel. And you'll see this dielectric and you'll see conductor. Dielectric will give you this plasticky sort of look. And that looks really nice. It almost looks like a gumball if I kind of think about it. And then you have conductor, which is for those sort of rough, rustic metals. You can see that this is a little bit different here. I actually like using dielectric. I actually like that plasticky look. I like that. I like the way it kind of works in scenes. So I actually like the way that looks. And now I have this set up. And I have it the way that I want it. So let's go in and let's just add something else. Let's just add this square here, this cube. And I'll just drag my new material onto my object here. Alright. And now as I move forward and let's live preview here, you'll notice that it's still as flat as this one. And why is that? And the reason is that we now need lights. So we'll end up adding lights to our scene and getting our objects to look pretty decent. So lighting and materials go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. Otherwise, you'll really have a flat, bland scene. So we're going to go into lighting here next.